Want to bring more drama to your flower paintings? Try working in monochrome like I did when I created this striking iris flower sketch in watercolour. Let me show you how I did it. Hi, I'm Anna Mason. Welcome to Nature Studio TV, here to help you become the artist you want to be. In this mini class, we're going to be using just one colour to create a theatrical, monochromatic portrait of an iris flower. For this sketch, we'll work in a line and wash style to really accentuate the frilly form of the petals through bold line work. The paint colour I've chosen for this is called Mars Black by Winsor & Newton. I especially like this watercolour paint for its granulating qualities, which means that the pigment doesn't spread evenly, so it creates a mottled texture and extra drama. The fully guided step-by-step version of this class is available in my online art school and community Nature Studio. Here's a quick overview of the process. Before I start painting, I first create a fairly accurate pencil sketch of the iris based on a reference photo I took. Then I go over those lines with a thick, black, waxy coloured pencil so they'll hold their strength against the washes. That gives me the freedom to work loosely with the paint while still keeping the structure of the flower clear and bold and with a really graphic look. I'm using Mars Black paint for this sketch because it granulates, and for this line and wash style I really like that textured, painterly look it gives. I'm going to begin with the lightest tones or values, and I'm deliberately keeping them a little lighter than the reference so that I can build up more drama and contrast as I go. For these first washes, I'm using my mop brush. It holds lots of watery paint so that I can place pale washes quickly and keep the edges loose. As I lay this in, I'm following the curves of the petals so the strokes create that frilly iris form without me having to overwork it. A small thing that really helps here is holding the brush lightly right at the tip of the wooden part so that the marks stay fluid and expressive. Now, whilst this is still wet, I can start to increase the contrast. I'm keeping the contrast levels high so the iris feels theatrical and bold, and I'm going to drop in some much thicker, darker paint in places. That's where the granulation really starts to sing. When I need more control for those stronger accents, I move down to my size 5 brush, squeeze it off and then pick up a thicker mix so that I can place those darker notes exactly where I want them. From here, it's a really enjoyable stage of nudging the tones and shaping the petal forms, strengthening some folds, softening others, and letting that granulating pigment create natural texture. This is where the iris starts to feel like it has depth. Those darker notes sit into the overlaps and curves and make the petals lift off the page. It's a looser, more interpretive way of working than my usual realism, and it can be incredibly absorbing because you're constantly responding to what the paint is doing. Next, I let it dry off and use the smaller brush to drop in some really thick dark paint again into the darkest areas to ensure I've got the richest, darkest colours where I want them. The iris now looks too high contrast, so I now go back to some more watery paint, again to darken the lighter midtones, brushstroke by brushstroke. I'm also thinking about what makes this subject so perfect for monochrome. An iris has that beautiful frilly structure and strong shape design, so even without colour it can feel dramatic and full of character. This is also a great point to pause and take stock, because in a sketchy style like this, the decisions are as much about what you leave out as what you put in. And if you'd like to paint this alongside me in the full length class with every stage shown in real time, that's available inside Nature Studio. With the lighter midtones darkened, I go back to a thicker, darker mix and darken up the darkest areas some more to re-establish the contrast levels, trying to apply in a fluid way with my brush. I also pick out a bit more detail with the tip of the brush. Now we hit the judgment point. I could keep adding more and more detail with smaller and smaller brushstrokes, and on other paintings I would, but for this I want it to keep feeling loose and fluid. So it's about deciding at what point it feels a level of complete, and that's much more subjective. It's whether you like it and whether you think it's captured the essence of the flower in the way that you want. Moving into the next stage, and with the paper dry, I go back over the pencil work so it stands out more boldly against the paint. I'm not going over every line, I'm picking out the ones that really need accentuating, especially where the petal curves around and I want that edge to read clearly. And then I add a few fun sketchy details, a few little squiggles are enough to hint at texture. Now I'll make a few more adjustments with paint, and I'm using the size 5 brush for this. I'm looking across the whole flower and tweaking the tones so that the balance feels right, deepening a fold here, strengthening an edge there, and keeping the overall feel painterly rather than tight. This stage needs a little concentration, but it's also very satisfying because small changes make the whole iris feel more balanced. And finally, just as a little embellishment at the end, I switch back to the mop brush with a fairly pale mix, load it up and come in from the side with a few little flicks. It enhances that painterly look and reinforces the fact that this is a sketch, loose, expressive and full of movement. I love making these splatters. Please do drop me a comment if this mini class has inspired you to paint your own monochromatic flower portrait in this style. And remember that if you'd like to try it with more guidance, the full version of this tutorial is one of the hundreds of classes included with membership of my online school and community, Nature Studio. If you've enjoyed watching, please subscribe to Nature Studio TV, then pop over to naturestudio.com where you can sign up for a free class and find a whole heap of free resources to help you capture the beauty of nature on your paper. Thanks for watching, and if you want to find out more about Nature Studio, keep watching. Have you taken my free full-length watercolour class yet? If not, you're in for a treat. In it, I guide you step by step through painting a juicy, realistic pear that'll make you think, wow, I did that. You'll learn a repeatable, reliable watercolour method that you can go on to use for painting all kinds of other subjects. I'm confident you'll discover something that I already know, that you're a better artist than you think. I teach everything about my watercolour method in this full-length class, and I'm sharing it with you for free because I want to show you what you can achieve with the right instruction. If it ignites a spark in you, just as it has for thousands of others who've taken this class, there are hundreds more detailed tutorials you can unlock if you choose to become a Nature Studio member. So get the free class now and get ready to wow yourself with your results.